Hi, my name is Amandeep and I'm a CPA practicing in the Metro Vancouver region of British Columbia, Canada. Today's brief topic is on the deductibility of meals and entertainment expenses here in Canada. Now you might ask, what is the difference between meals and entertainment? You see, meals are essentially food and beverage. An example would be taking your client out for dinner to discuss business. On the other hand, entertainment generally represents things like concert tickets, theater tickets, sporting events, or nightclubs, etc. In general, expenses incurred to earn business or property income are tax deductible. However, for meals and entertainment, the maximum you can claim for food, beverage, and entertainment expenses is 50%. You see, the 50% limit does not apply in all cases. For example, if any meals and entertainment expenses are incurred for one of the 6 events in a year where all employees are invited to participate, these expenses are not subject to the 50% rule. Similarly, if meals and entertainment expenses are incurred for fundraising for a charitable show event, you may fully claim such expenses. Does your business require your employees to travel? If yes, you might have 2 questions. Number 1, are meal allowances paid to employees while they are traveling tax deductible to your business or no? And number 2, is the meal allowance given to the employees taxable in their hands? You see, when you as an employer reimburse the employees for meals consumed while they are traveling outside of your metropolitan area, your employees do not have to include the amounts received in their taxable income. Now you might ask, what is a metropolitan area? Well, think about the Greater Vancouver area as an example to understand the meaning of a metro area. Likewise, you the employer can deduct the full amount of the meal allowance as an expense. There is one catch. However, the amount of the allowance must be reasonable. The CRA consider an allowance of up to $23 per meal to be reasonable. Yes, you heard that right. On September 3rd, 2020, in a news release, the CRA, in order to adjust for inflation, increased the amount that the employers can use to determine whether an overtime meal or allowance or the meal portion of a travel allowance is taxable or not. So they have moved it from $17 to $23. Now you might wonder about your employees' travels within the city. You see, your employees can receive a tax-free meal allowance when traveling even within the city if all of these 3 conditions are met. Number 1, the employee traveled away from the office for work. Number 2, the amount of the allowance received is not more than $23 per meal. Number 3, your employee can work more efficiently by having a meal outside of the office rather than traveling back to the office just to eat. Let's look at an example. Mark works for an IT services company and he has to travel to the client site, which is about an hour away from his office. He decides to have lunch at the client site rather than traveling back to the office to eat, since it's more efficient for Mark to have his lunch where he is physically working for the day. An employer provided meal allowance for that day will not be taxable to Mark and will also be fully deductible to his employer. So here's the tip: provide your employees with a tax-free meal allowance while traveling. Both you and your employee will come out ahead. Let's talk about entertainment expenses. As the entertainment of key clients, suppliers, and employees is an important aspect of doing business, you might have many questions about entertainment expenses. You see, CRA takes a very strict view on entertaining clients, employees, and suppliers at clubs, camps, lodges, golf courses, and on yachts, etc. Unless your business involves the ownership and renting of a club, camp, lodge, yacht, or a golf course, as general rule, no deduction is permitted relating to the use of these facilities. When it comes to a golf course green fees, the rules are very clear. Golf is considered to be a recreational activity, so the expenses related to this activity are not tax deductible. You see, if you take a client out for a round of golf, you cannot deduct the cost of that round in your business for tax purposes. Even though a business may be discussed on the course and you may have even closed a deal, you cannot deduct the cost of the green fees or membership. However, meals and entertainment consumed prior, during, and after playing golf are allowed to be deducted subject to the 50% limitation rule. However, to ensure you get to deduct the cost of entertaining your clients, please make sure that the meals and beverage expenses are clearly noted on your bill or receipt. If your receipt is all inclusive without a breakout for the cost of meals and the beverages, the CRA will disallow the entire expense. If you are a long-haul trucker, you may be eligible for different deduction rates. There are two different ways you can claim your meal expenses, the detailed and the simplified method. The detailed is straightforward. You can deduct up to 80% of your meal receipts. With the simplified method, you need to calculate the number of meals you purchase each day. You're allowed to claim up to $69 per day. That is $23 per meal. You don't need to keep any receipts if you are using the simplified method. One of the most attractive benefits of being self-employed is the ability to write off a variety of expenses for tax purposes. But suppose you abuse expense deductibility either by overstating the quantum of your expenses or claiming questionable expenses with little business purpose. Well, you could land into trouble with the Canada Revenue Agency. You may even be assessed a gross negligence penalty on the top of the tax owing and arrears interest. For example, in a court case, the tax judge upheld gross negligence penalties for a woman who claimed casino dinners as business expenses. You see, you should always be careful what expenses you write off, especially when they could be considered as personal. You must record the phone numbers and the names of the guests that you entertained or purchased meals for. You see, there are many apps such as Receipt Bank which can work great for this purpose. You can easily take a photo of your receipt right from your phone while you're still at the restaurant. Add your notes such as name and phone number of the guest and upload. If you get audited by the CRA, they will ask to see this information. I hope you found this video informative, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you want to be notified about our new tax updates, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video.